Hey folks, Doc Sigma here with part 32 of Let's Play Soleil for the Sega Mega Drive. We are in the final dungeon, and we are about to confront the final boss gauntlet. I'll spoil it right now for you. It's a series of 5 mini-bosses followed by the true final boss. But before we can do any of that, let's talk to Mother Monster. Yeah, we've got your horn. The reason I have your horn is because I went back in time and killed you, but I didn't go back in time as far as we are now. So, I guess I'll explain that to you. And then maybe you can explain some things to me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we learned that at the very, very beginning of the game if you watch the introductory sequence. Some sort of accident happened that sent the monsters to our world. They didn't really want to leave their world, but they figured as long as they were here, they might as well try to make peace with the humans. But the humans didn't want to have any of that. So it looks like the best solution would be to get the monsters back to their home world. Now, how are we going to do that? So it looks like the spirit energy is something that is blocking the path back to the monster world here in the distant past, shortly after the creation of the world. So yeah, right here in the middle is where we'd fight the spirit energy, but first we have to fight the 5 senses. And I'm queuing up my Sword of Disruption because it's good against a lot of them. The first sense, it doesn't matter what order you fight them in, let's just go clockwise. Behold, the sense of sight. Now the deal with this boss is, he's below the platforms, so you can't see him unless you clear the platforms away with your sword. But even if you can't see him, he can still damage you by touching you, and you can still damage him by hitting him with the sword. So you basically just kind of run around and kind of get a basic idea of where he is by making little paths like I've been doing. I mean, you could almost do it by just kind of throwing your sword around randomly. Because this boss, he really doesn't have all that much health. So I mean, you probably get the idea now. Just a couple more hits with this fire and ice sword, and he'll be gone. Yep, he's gone. That's 1 sense down, 4 to go. Let's talk to Mother Monster again. Every time you talk to her, she will refill your health. Pretty nice. Let's go to the next sense. This one is the sense of sound. Sense of hearing, if you will. Now the interesting thing here is, every so often he will change the floor into a slippery floor, which would send you into those spikes on the edge. So when that happens, just switch to Dippy. And Dippy the dim dinosaur, and you won't slide. It's really quite simple. I mean, yeah, it makes the fight take longer because you can't fight him while you're on Dippy, but you wouldn't be able to fight him while you were sliding anyway, so it doesn't slow it down. If anything, it speeds it up, or makes it possible even. So yeah, this Sword of Disruption, fire and ice sword, does great damage to him, as it does with many bosses. Will we be using it on the final boss? I've been in such a spoiler-tastic mood lately, I'll tell you no, we will not be using it on the final boss. The final boss is vulnerable to it, but there's something that he's even more vulnerable to. Something that does even more damage to him. Huh, and he still has the 0th hit point left, you see what I mean? He has no health left, but he's still alive. Funny, I thought in video games like this, I thought only good guys got the 0th hit point and bad guys didn't. Well, either way, he's dead now, so it's all good. And our health is full. We didn't take any damage from him, so we don't even have to talk to Mother Monster again. Let's just keep going. Okay, this guy. It's not too obvious from the way he looks, but this is the sense of smell, this snake-like boss. He's a big blind snake who's following you around with his nose. Now you may notice as I walk over the platforms they become broken, But they don't crumble through. Instead, what happens is, you wait for him to stand on broken platforms, and you jump, and all the broken platforms turn to spikes. Now, you suffer some damage from that, but so does he, and he actually suffers more damage than you suffer. So you just kind of repeat this pattern. And as long as you don't take any damage from, like, walking into him or from walking off the edge, then you'll win, as long as you start with full health, because he always takes more damage than you do. You only have to do this, I think, a total of 5 or 6 times. It's just important to make sure that when you jump, make sure that he's standing completely on an area with broken platforms. Because it would suck for you to suffer damage when he doesn't. That would be a waste. He's a really freaky looking guy. In fact, one might almost think that he might be representing the sense of taste, like maybe his snake-like body is actually a big tongue. But in just a couple of minutes it'll become very clear that he can't possibly be the sense of taste. He has to be the sense of smell because the other 4 senses have very obvious things representing them, like an eyeball, a musical note, and some things we're going to see soon. Yeah. 3 senses down. They don't call them mini-bosses for nothing. Although I guess if you didn't know what you were doing, you might take some damage from them, but it doesn't take a long time to figure it out even. Now this is the sense of taste. You cannot damage these guys. Think you can figure out what we gotta do here? Oh yeah, this is the Pac-Man boss. These apples don't even give you any health back if you happen to take damage from the mouths. The apples are just like the dots in Pac-Man. Just gotta eat them all. And once you eat them all, the boss is defeated. This is really a fun creative little boss. Oh, you can't jump over them either. You can't jump high enough to jump over them. Nah, I took a bit of damage. Oh well. Would have been interesting if the mouths were instant death, to make this even more Pac-Man-like. And that's that. Only suffered 1 point of damage, we might as well talk to Mother Monster to get it back. Now there's only 1 left, and if you've been keeping track, you'll know it's going to be the sense of touch. Now here, I'm actually going to use the raccoon dog for the first time in my life. Because, see, these 2 hands basically just kind of follow you around. Now, if you use the raccoon dog, then one of the hands will just become preoccupied with your clone, and the other one will chase you around. Now, when there's only 1 chasing you, you can deal with it pretty easily. But when there's 2 chasing you, it just becomes too much to deal with. So what I do is, I leave the raccoon dog down, and then just smack the living crap out of the hand that's chasing me. And then once half of his energy is gone, one of the hands will disappear, and we'll only have 1 hand to deal with, and then I'll switch to the trusty you-know-what sword. And this guy will be as good as gone. We'll be off to the real final boss. Well, now they're both interested in my clone. The boss is almost dead anyway. Just keep smacking them. Then the platform you fight this guy on is really, it's weird texture. It's hard to explain. It's basically like really bumpy ice. Because it takes you a really long time to get started moving, but then once you do get started, you go faster and faster. Kind of frustrating. So yeah, once 1 hand is dead, the fight's not over. You have to beat them both. And this one has full energy now, so like I said, we can safely deal with 1. So let's take him out with the Disruption Sword. I love that name for it. And I am pretty sure that's just a name that some guy came up with. But whoever that guy is, he's a pretty cool guy, because that's a nice name for this sword. It's funny how I went from hating it to just mildly disliking it to now almost loving it. It's just so handy against so many bosses. And that's that. We've defeated the 5 senses, so now the gate to the final boss is open. You guys have anything new to say? No. I thought one of you had something new to say. I guess I was wrong. Sorry about that. But yeah, we are ready to fight Spirit Energy, the final boss. And if we're able to defeat him, then the monsters can go back to their own homeworld in the distant past, and life will be super. But we're gonna have to do that next time, on what may very well be the final episode of Let's Play Soleil with Dark Sigma, who happens to be me. So I'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.